All right, guys, we are back. What a weekend. What a game this was. The Niners completely dominated this game from beginning to end. And I tweeted this after the game. Good teams win on the road. Great teams dominate. This is the best 49ers game under the Shanahan-Lynch era, hands down. This game had so much to offer from the 49ers standpoint, a lot to get to, a lot of positives, and a lot of game balls to hand out. Let's get started and let's begin with this offense who showed up and scored 41 points. When's the last time they did that? Let me start with the head coach, Kyle Shanahan. Look, I was very critical on Shanahan last week because I felt his play calling was not helping us much on offense. It was very conservative. And I do give some credit to the Bucs, but we couldn't really get the ball moving and run the football that week. However, in this game, Kyle took out all of his tricks and expanded that playbook like I've ever seen. It was beautiful to see. He had the Bengals defense on their toes all game. I mean, the Bengals did not know what hit them. They were lost on their own football field. From screens, play action plays, hell, even Pettis threw a football on a screen play. Shanahan had an agenda clearly, and he was not messing around this week. He really buttoned up and put his foot down. The 49ers running game is what opened everything up. 49ers had 259 rushing yards, 313 passing yards. Breida with 121 rushing yards on only 12 carries, but it wasn't only him. Mostert and Jeff Wilson all ran the ball well. When Kyle has the running game going, good luck defenses. We saw glimpses of this the past 2 years though. Like, this is not a surprise for those who have been keeping tabs on these backs. These boys can run, they're physical, and they finish runs. And they were running it down their throats. I mean, Mostert had a receiving touchdown, and then you look at the other back under the radar who just got called up from the practice squad, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Shanahan loves to use him in the goal line, and they executed that perfectly. Offensive line played a beautiful game. One of my keys to the game was how will they keep Jimmy clean in the pocket? Well, with a good running game, it opens up the play action, and Jimmy was able to eat from there. O-line did a hell of a job all game, but it does lead me to Joe Staley, who now we know broke his fibula and could miss up to 8 weeks or even more. Now, this was the only negative, and it's a huge hit for this offense. The Niners would need to make a move at left tackle. This team is too good not to go all in. Like, seriously. I know it's just 2 weeks, but those are 2 very impressive games. The Niners just dominated this last one. Expect Lynch to make a trade for a left tackle sometime this week. We also need to talk about the blocking on this offense though. I mean, Kittle, Juszczyk, and that offensive line all blocked the heck out of the Bengals. Their defensive line was quiet all game. Bengals had no answer. The linebackers had no shot to stop the run. They were bad. I mean, looking at it from their perspective, they were terrible. Just a clinic though by Shanahan, and they took these boys to school. Now on defense, and it's a different week, but same result for this D. Allowing 17 points, had an interception, 4 sacks, and a whole lot of quarterback pressure. Just what I like to see. Defensive line with another solid performance. D Ford didn't play a lot in this game. It opened that up for Ronald Blair, who came out and balled out. Had a sack in this game. Had a lot of pressure as well. Bosa was playing like himself. Had quite a few quarterback pressures. Didn't get a sack this week, but still made a huge impact. Loving this pick more and more as the weeks progress. But the guy I love watching right now has to be Quan Alexander. The man had an interception. I mean, it looks like everything that was thrown his way was a pass deflection. He was playing like his hair was on fire. I love the energy he brings to this defense, and I feel like he's the heart and soul of the entire Niner squad. I mean, this guy seems like he is really fun to play with, and Warner, Witherspoon, and this defensive line, I mean, everyone is just feeding off of that. Great to see. Now, Witherspoon has played 2 solid weeks on the road, had a lot of contested passes in this one. The guy every game is growing with confidence, and this is what we wanted to see from him. At least last year, we're seeing it a lot this year. His play is what is keeping Jason Verrett on the bench right now, too. So, good to see from Witherspoon. Speaking of confidence, it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is slowly getting more comfortable with that knee and is shaking up some rust. Had a couple of scrambles, and he looked pretty good with those. He did make a terrible mistake by throwing that interception. I mean, talk about a bad sequence. That was as bad as it gets. It was penalty, timeout, penalty, and then interception. The Bengals didn't capitalize, but still, that was just a terrible decision. The only bad drive in this entire game. That was it. But Jimmy played really good. Kyle made it really easy for him. A lot of screens and having his team make the plays. Remember, too, we did this all without Kittle really getting involved. Talk about a juggernaut. Kittle killed in the run game, though. That won't show up in the stat sheet, but this Niners offense is impressive just as it is. And people still think we need a number one wide receiver, and that still can hold true. Like, imagine if Kyle has a number one receiver in this offense. I mean, who's going to be able to stop him? My last point is still with penalties. Had some boneheaded penalties, which we need to clean up. There's some things that are questionable, like holding calls. Those are going to happen here and there, but you know, we can't have boneheaded penalties like the Witherspoon one. You don't need to have other teams stay in the game. Lucky for us, this was a blowout, but something to keep an eye on moving forward. Victory Mondays are always good, and it's been a while since we've had back-to-back wins. This feels amazing, Niner fans. Anyways, guys, let me get your reaction on this blowout victory against the Bengals. Everyone should get game balls for that performance. I mean, everyone played tremendous, like Williams, Sherman, Tavarius Moore. Everyone deserves some sort of credit for this dominant performance, and some boys who fly under the radar like Julian Taylor. I mean, I love to see these guys compete, and it's really nice to see this defensive line look as deep as we thought it was going to be early in the season. But drop your comments below. Here are some of the comments you guys left in my previous video before the Bengal game. One thing we've learned these past 2 weeks: Niners are a really good football team. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.